Hello friends, today I take up a new topic and the name of the topic is G20 meeting in Indonesia. Friends, as you know that finance ministers and governors of central banks of the Group 20 gathered at Jakarta in Indonesia on 17th February, and the meeting will continue for 2 days. Now, in this context, I have taken this topic because it forms part of our current affair. Now, from 1st December 22 onwards, India will head G20 summit. So, my lesson plan includes why is it in the news? Number 2, what is Group 20? I mean the definition of Group 20, agenda of G20, Group 7, membership of the Group 20, criticism of the G20, achievement of G20, India's priority in G20, and finally conclusion. I hope friends that these points will be sufficient to understand about G20. Friends, as you know that after Second World War, bilateralism was replaced by multilateralism. Why? Because bilateralism in the international relation was not the guarantee of world peace. And we have seen how First World War and Second World War caused havoc to the humanity. Lakhs of people perished, crores of properties were destroyed. So, what you see? That in place of the policy of balance of power, it was replaced by collective security, and that's why the United Nations organization was born. And after that, so many multilateral organizations also came into being. For example, World Trade Organization, General Agreement on Trade and Tariff, which later was converted into World Trade Organization. In economic field, International Monetary Fund and World Bank were constituted to herald a new economic order. Similarly, Organization of Economic Development, OECD, Organization of Economic Cooperation and Development, it is a group of the developed countries of the world, and G7, Group 7, and again it is the grouping of the most advanced economy of the world, and I will discuss it in detail. And thereafter, what you see, G20, it is the grouping of the combination of both developed countries and developing countries, and its members are 19 countries and 1 European Union. So we will discuss one by one in detail. So why is it in the news? Friends, I have already told you that 2-day meetings are being organized in Indonesia of the finance ministers, and in this context I have taken this topic. So you see, this is the world map, and the red colored is about the member of group 20 countries, and I will enumerate one by one later on. So you see the red colored, this one is Brazil and this one is Argentina. Similarly, this is Australia, this is Indonesia, India, and then China, Russia, Japan, or France, Italy, UK. So, and then US, Canada, Mexico. So, what you see? That it covers half of the landmass. Its importance can be visualized from the fact that G20 group countries constitute half of the landmass of the world. Secondly, its economy is around 85% of the world. I mean that its GDP is around 80 to 85% of the world economy. So you can see how much it is important as a group of developed and developing countries. Now, as I have told you that G20 countries account for 90% of the world economy and 2/3 of its population. 2/3 of the population constitute G20's countries. So friends, which countries are the members of G20? I will just enumerate in order to understand. Argentina, Australia, Brazil, Canada, China, France, Germany, India, Indonesia, Italy, Japan, South Korea, Mexico, Russia, Saudi Arabia, South Africa, Turkey, United Kingdom, United States, European Union. So you see that there are 19 countries and one is European Union. Now G20 economies, you see that the gross domestic product per capita, here we find that the highest per capita is for Canada, $51,689. For US it is $49,601 per capita. Britain 38,891. For Germany it is 42,625. These are developed countries. Now for China it is $5,899 per capita. And for India it is less, around 1,455 American dollar per capita. Now it has increased to around 2,100 American dollar. Now for Australia it is 68,916 per capita American dollar. Now GDP growth percent, what we find that for China it is 8.2% and for India 6.9% annual GDP growth, Indonesia 6.1%, Saudi Arabia 6%, Argentina it is 4.2%. So what you see, Indian growth is second to China, but now since 2020 onwards, or now this year, according to our budget projection, around 9.2% GDP growth has been forecast. So now the growth of the Indian GDP, annual growth of Indian GDP now surpassed to that of China. Now, so you see that the world GDP, this is only for rest of the world, and the entire area is covered in this pie chart by group 20 countries. So you can understand as to how much this group is important. So now I switch over to another point, and this is why is it in the news. Friends, I have told you that two-day meetings of the finance ministers started on 17th February and it will continue up to 18th February in Indonesia. And Indonesian President Joko Widodo calls for global unity. Number one, he wanted that countries should avoid tensions and cooperate to support recovery from the pandemic. Why? He also told that no economy is isolated. All economies of the world are interconnected, and so the first priority is to remove tension arising out of the border clashes between Russia and Ukraine. Now, global economy is struggling and no single country could recover alone. All countries are interconnected and no one is isolated. Again, the potential conflict in Ukraine, between Ukraine and Russia, must be avoided. It is not the time to create new tension that could affect global economy. He said that it is necessary that every party put an end to rivalry and friction. Friends, another point of importance is surging price rise. Inflationary trend in the world economy, energy inflation, labor market mismatches, wage pressure, high energy prices, slow economy growth around 4.4% instead of 5.9% in 2021, and ensuring equitable access to vaccines to countries are important problems that has to be tackled and to be discussed by the finance minister of Group 20. Now, Union Finance Minister of India, Srimati Nirmala Sitharaman, pitched for an independent mechanism at the multilateral level for distribution of funds and vaccines to remain prepared for future pandemic. Again, India spent 29 billion American dollar on health infrastructure, and in which health insurance was provided to needy, the downtrodden, and people below poverty line. So she stressed the need to bridging the infrastructural funding gap and developing innovative financial mechanism for an inclusive growth in the sector. Again, now Cabinet, the Indian Cabinet approves Secretariat for 2023 Group 20 Summit because India will act as President of G20 from 1st December 2022 up to November 30, 2023. So friends, as you know that the head of the G20 Summit is based upon rotation. This year in 2022, Indonesia will organize summit around September, October, and in the next year, in 2023, India will organize summit Earlier in 2021, Italy organized G20 summit. So the conduct of G20 group is done by Troika. Troika means the preceding head of the grouping, the present head of G20 and the succeeding head of group 20. So all this head of the state decide about the agenda, about the implementation of the resolution passed in G group summit. So this is although it is a forum, it has got no legislative body, and so its resolution has got no legal sanctity, but its resolution has very much effect or impact upon different countries of the world and their economies. Now, in Indian context, the secretariat will be manned by officers drawn from Foreign Ministry, Finance Ministry and other important ministries, and officers who have expertise in order to have capacity building including knowledge and expertise for India's leadership on global issues for multilateral fora. So friends, now India has started preparation for 2023 G20 summit. Now I switch over to another point. And what is Group 20? Friends, I have already told you that a group of finance ministers and central bank governors of 19 largest economies of the world and European Union, and it was started or formed in 1999. The group comprises both developed country and developing countries. Friends, we can also say that Group 20 is an extension of Group 7. Why I am telling you that Group 7 was formed in 1975, but since 1980s, the developing countries like India, China, Mexico, these countries started developing their economy very fast. Their growth rate touched around 7 to 10%, and so it was decided that it is beyond the capacity of Group 7 countries to control or regulate the economy of the world, and that's why Group 20 was formed, taking into account other developing countries of the world like China, India, and I will discuss later on. G20 promotes global economic growth, number one. Number two, international trade, and third, regulation of international market. These are the three important purposes for which Group 20 was formed. Number one is to promote growth of international or world economy. Number two, international trade, and third is regulation of financial market of the world. So these are the important economic planks of G20 countries. Now it is a forum and it has got no legislative body, and that's why the resolution passed by Group 20 countries have got no legal sanctity. But these resolutions passed by Group 20 countries have very much influence upon the policy of countries and global cooperation. Now, I have already told you that Group 20, G20 country represents more than 80%, around 90% of gross domestic product of the world. 75% of world trade and 60 more than 60% of the world population. And similarly, I have already said that it constitute, the group 20 country constitute half of the land mass of the world. So it is a leading forum for global financial issues whose members include developed and developing countries. Now, the recent agenda items at G20 meeting have included cryptocurrencies. This is a hot subject now. Again, food security and trade wars. Friends, as you know that there is a trade war between the US and China, and that is going on for the last 3 to 4 years. And similarly, food security. Why I am telling you? Because the prices of foods are increasing, are going to the intolerable limit for the bottom 50% of the population. Why? Because the production and productivity of food are coming down, not only in other country but in India also. And that's why government of India chalked out another strategy to proliferate the green revolution technology in eastern India, so that this area should get maximum high yielding variety seeds, fertilizers, irrigation facilities, pesticides, mechanization in agriculture and market facilities. All these are ingredient of green revolution, and now this revolution is being spread out in the eastern India. Why? Because the traditional area of green revolution in Punjab, western UP and Haryana now started lower productivity. So its purpose is to bring together systematically important industrialized countries and developing countries to discuss key issues of global economy. Now, what are the important agenda of G20 countries? Number one, and what has been its agenda since 2008? G20 groups countries always organize summit on the annual basis. So what is the important agenda of G20 is now being discussed. Number one is sustainability of sovereign debt and global financial stability. Number two, global economic growth. Number three, international trade, to monitor international trade. Number four, regulation of financial markets. Number five, global health infrastructure, to increase global health infrastructure. Digital transformation, sustainable energy transition, role of private sector in the fight against climate change. Sustainable development, women's empowerment, to tackle unemployment, again environment and energy, development and wellness, infrastructure for development, a sustainable food security, cryptocurrencies, the US-China trade war. So these were the important agenda since 2008 of G20 summits, which is organized annually. So now I switch over to another point, and I will discuss now about Group 7. What is Group 7? And I have already told you that G20 is the extension of G7. Why? Because since 1980 it was realized that the hitherto developing countries like China, India, Mexico, Saudi Arabia, all these countries now growing at faster rate, even from 7 to 10%, and now you know that the Chinese economy reached to the second level next to the US in its journey since 1980. So friends, I will discuss now about Group 7 in order to clear our concept. And I have already told you that G20 is an extension of Group G7. So all members of Group 7 are members of G20. Number 1. Number 2, G7 consists of European Union and 7 advanced or developed countries like France, Germany, Italy, Japan, UK, US and Canada. Now it was formed in 1975 and G7 meets annually to discuss or chalk out strategies for economic and political development. Now, from 1998, with the inclusion of Russia, it became G8. But in 2014, when Russia captured Crimea from Ukraine, so Russia was removed from Group 8, and now Group 8 reduced to Group 7. But Russia is still the part of Group 20. So membership of the Group 20, and I have already discussed about it, that Argentina, Australia, Brazil, Canada, China, European Union, France, Germany, Italy, Japan, India, Indonesia, Mexico, Russia, Saudi Arabia, South Africa, South Korea, Turkey, United Kingdom, United States. All these are members of Group 20, where there are 19 countries and one is European Union. Now Spain is invited as permanent member. Similarly, whenever the summit is organized, World Trade Organization, International Monetary Fund, World Bank and ASEAN and Financial Stability Board are also invited to take part in annual summit of G20. The work of ensuring the continuity of the G20 is handled by a troika. I have already discussed about it, and represented by a country that holds the presidency, its predecessor and its successor. So the present president, the predecessor and successor president of G20, they form the executive body of G20 and is called Troika to execute the resolution passed in the annual summit of G20. Now I switch over to another point, that is criticism of G20. What are the criticism that has been leveled by different critics? Number 1, lack of transparency. Critics allege that most of the discussions related to economy are done behind the curtain, behind the door. So it lacks transparency. Number 1. The second allegation is that encouraging trade agreements that strengthen large corporations and multinational companies. Third, slow to combat climate change. No worthwhile has been done to combat climate change. This is the important agenda of different world fora. So it is, since it is the largest grouping, it has been slow to combat climate change. Number 4, failing to address social inequality and global threats to democracy. Friends, as you know that inequality is increasing, not only in India but in the world economy, and concentration of economic power is going on in a few hands. Most of the multinational companies have amassed wealth more than most of the economy of third world countries. So what you see that a parallel economic order in the form of multinational companies has originated. And in the previous lecture I have already told you how in India the concentration of wealth has increased with the passage of time. 1% of the top people in India have 22% of the wealth, and 10% of the top 10% of the people of India have amassed 57% of the wealth of India. Similarly, in different countries of world, it has become a tendency to have concentration of wealth in few hands, and that's why it is a matter of great concern, and it is the cause of tension within the country. Now, it has failed to address the inequalities, the growing inequalities among people. Number one, and again global, it could not stop the global threats to democracy. And friends, as you know that how Myanmar is now under the military dictatorship for the last 1 year, and how the elected government in Myanmar was toppled down. Similarly, most of the countries of Africa go through military coup, and so democracy is throttled down by different military regimes all over the world, and G20 countries are at a loss to stop this kind of subversion of democratic process in the world. Lack of accountability is another charge that is being leveled by critics, and then absence of formal charter for the group. There is no written charter for G20 group. And I have already told you, it is only a fora, there is no legislative body, and that's why the resolution passed by G20 country has no legal sanctity. Another allegation is that important meetings are held behind closed doors. The group is overtly restricted, and allegation is that the G20 group doesn't reflect world opinion. Why I am telling you? We see only one country, South Africa, is a member of G20. So, majority of countries have been left out in Africa and in Central Asia, in Europe, and that's why critics allege that it is not reflective of the world opinion, since important countries have been left out. Limited membership, lack of enforcement powers, undermining of existing international institutions, and I have already discussed about it that G20 lacks the power of enforcement. However, it is very important that resolution passed by G20 has immense influence on different countries of the world. Now, achievements. What are the achievements of G20, which was formed in 1999? So, one by one I will discuss about it. Number one, steered the world out of the global economic crisis between 2008 and 2010, when world was passing through depression. And so friends, it was the biggest achievement of G20 countries that it came out from the depression, and by pumping out or injecting 1.1 trillion American dollar in the financial aid into the global economy. Next, increase the lending capacity of International Monetary Fund. Again, collected richer information on the shadow banking system, strengthened international financial regulatory system, including better coordination across countries to help prevent future crises by enabling the countries to align their domestic policies to the decision taken by the group across ministerial level. These are the important achievement of G20. Now, what we switch over to another point. What were India's priority in G20? Number one, structural reforms to push economic growth. Number two, checking tax evasion to fight corruption. Number three, choking terror funds. And as you know that how Pakistan for the last 30 years funding terrorists and exporting terrorists into the Indian soil of Jammu and Kashmir, thereby causing loss of people and resources. So the agenda for Indian government is to choke out terror funds. Number four is cutting cost of remittances, because India is the largest gainer from remittances. So market access for key drugs to eliminate safe havens for economic offenders, unconditionally extradite money launderers, end of excessive banking secrecy, to uplift the socio-economic condition of people across the world. And I have already discussed about it, how the concentration of wealth is rising, inequality is spreading, not only India, in the different parts of the world. So India's priority is to tackle the socio-economic condition of the world economy. Now friends, I now switch over to another point. What conclusions we derive from this lecture? Number one, G20 focuses on reforming the global financial system to increase global economic growth. So one of the important agenda of G20 is to have greater growth in the economy of the world. It is based upon the premise that with the higher growth, it will trickle down to the lower level, benefiting the poor and downtrodden people. So reforming the financial institution or global financial system in order to increase the economic growth of G20 countries is one of the important plans of G20. Number two, world is facing severe socio-economic problems like increasing income inequality, unemployment, and gender inequality, creating social tension. So these socio-economic disparities must be tackled down in order to have rationality for G20 grouping and Finally, promoting inclusive growth has been a priority for India at G20 forum. So friends, India is clear on this, on the agenda as to there must be inclusive growth. Inclusive growth means the growth which affects every section of the society. Every section of society gets benefit out of the high growth. So this has been the consistent agenda of India. So friends, now I am winding up my lecture. If you like my lecture, please share and subscribe. I have tried to cover all the important points under G20. So if you have any suggestion, please comment, write down in the comment box. I will very much appreciate your efforts. Stay fit. Thank you very much.